Hi, my name is Apoorva, and I'm a beekeeper since 2008. And I have been practicing beekeeping in rural areas and the outskirts of Bangalore. And I am a chairman of the Hive Trust, an NGO which is working on conservation and advocacy of bees in urban Bangalore, and a lot of pollinators education to the farmers and tribal communities in India. And I am a director of Honeyday Bee Farms. We deal with honey. We have a honey in our own brand, and we do the beekeeping supplies to so many farming communities in India. From 2014, I have been sensitizing people in urban space and in the rural space also regarding how to retain the bee colonies when they come to your space. So there are 719 species of bees in India, and out of them 200 are endemic to India. Among these 719 species, only 4 species are social bees. So in my experience, when they come to the urban space, they behave differently because they can get to see you so many colors. They are colorblind, but still they will be able to observe so many variables in the colors, patterns, and the movements. They don't have the ability to hear, but they can sense the vibrations with their special, some organs in their legs and their antennas. They have the very good ability for receptivity of many kinds of smells and aroma and everything. But here in urban space, they get to see all these smells. They can sense, from frying masala to uh, fabric softener in the cloth, you wearing the perfume, body spray, and pets, and also movements, smoke from vehicles, and so many other things. After that, they get to know that these things are not threatening for them, and they will start to make their colony. Then they will build the hive with the wax. And when the hive looks bigger, then people will call. And they usually call pest control companies. And unfortunately, in India, um, now, these are listed in the pest control companies' websites, and they are considered as pests. So anyone can do anything to the beehive, and people call them, and they come immediately. They spray poison, and that is how it is being dealt in urban space. The definition of pest is something different. It should cause disease. It should spread disease. It should, infest everywhere, and they should give you, deteriorating trouble to your health and your habitat. But bees are not pests. They are actually our national assets. They pollinate whatever food we are eating also, because that's why we say every third spoon of food we are eating is the contribution of the bee pollination. So if we are losing the bees, then we are losing the food also. So with the loss of pollinators, we are going to hit a very big low, even mightier low, with deficit of pollination with respect to the small and marginal farmers. There are other pollinators also, but 86% of the you know vegetation on Earth requires insect pollination, and among this 86%, bees will dominate more percentage of pollination stake. So that's why these bees are really important. So the wingspan of these bees, rock bees, are really large. So they may cover up to 5 kilometers to 9 kilometer radius from the reference of their hive colony. So that means they are able to pollinate such a large area. And since they are migratory, they swarm in a particular time in a particular place in a year, so that the density of the pollinators will be so huge, so that all the trees and plants which will blossom in that particular time, it could be our food crops in the plains and the semi plains where we are growing vegetables, pulses and oil. And since we are losing 40% of insect biomass on earth because of introduction of so many new molecules in pesticides and sudden change of farm ecology, farm ecosystem, because we are getting into machinization in farming and so many changes we are observing. So there is a loss of habitats, nesting habitats for the bees. So that's why these bees, these rock bees, they prefer nesting in the higher altitude, and all the mature trees are going now. And in the urban habitat, the buildings are taller than trees, and they are firm, and they will not swing to the wind, and the balconies will make them very ideal nesting site because they have the full spectrum of foraging path and half sun, half shade. So everything is ideal for them. Apis dorsata, they have a different level of ability to go on foraging in the full moon nights also. Uh, they can still pollinate flowers which are in still blossom in the night and the late evenings. Here in urban space, we enjoy a lot of lights, and there is a term called light pollution also. So, lot of moths and so many nocturnal insects and even some animals have a lot of trouble with this particular light pollution. So when you know a lot of glass, windows and panes, everything we are using in apartments because it looks very nice. So in the night they may enter inside your home. So what we do, we switch off the living room's light, and we will switch on the balcony or veranda or outside. So what they will do, they will go outside. Otherwise, uh, what you can do is, they are color blind to red color. So if you apply thin film or screen, just inside your windows, so the light which is going through that screen or film, it will be red. But with respect to these rock bees, relocation is not a sustainable solution, because these bees, as I told you, they cover larger area for foraging. That means their familiar area is so big. So when you have to relocate, you will have to completely relocate them away from the urban settlement. So there you will have to release in the wild. So here, the people who are doing it right now, so-called relocators, they are into making quick money, unfortunately. So more number of hives they relocate in a day, more money they can make. They cannot relocate one hive away from Bangalore, say 55 to 65 kilometers away from Bangalore, if they have to release wherever there will be no apartments and no buildings. Bangalore is growing, so they will have to go away from Bangalore and release. So they cannot release only one hive per day. So they are making money, and they will have to relocate more number of bee colonies in a day. And that's why they will get everything in a bag, and they will release them in the next road or the next cross or the next block. And again they will go to some other same kind of apartment buildings. But this is an ecological process and issue. And even the housekeeping department or any people who are maintaining your community, even they cannot do anything. This is going to repeat every year, because in Bangalore and many other places in urban space, the local municipal or the BBMP kind of government missionaries, they have planted a lot of trees which will blossom in that particular time. Pongamia, copperpod, even the eucalyptus, even so many other trees will blossom. And March, April, May is the time for the bees to get their food inside the hive. They will store it, and they will have to maintain it thoroughly for the remaining rainy season. So that's why they will come here. They will store food, and in the middle of rainy season, they will start to move. So that is their time. So if they have come here in March, they will probably will leave by June 15th. So this is their time. Because of the climate change, the blossom time will be varied. So many things are variables. So there we will have to be little patient, so that give time for them to move away from their nesting site. Relocation is not a sustainable solution. Only two things we can do, we can work on. One is with the uh, small hacks. By understanding their migratory time of the year, they will get in when is the swarming time of the year, and when the swarms are getting into Bangalore. That we will have to see. So there are two seasons, post monsoon and in the beginning of summer. So when we observe these two seasons, we will have to block all the spaces wherever the usual swarms will come and nest. You can block them, not completely. You can tie some dangulars and tapes which will be swinging to the wind. So the bee colonies, they will not prefer a space wherever there will be a disturbance, because they will have to grow their colony and maintain their brood. So if something is swinging and hitting the hive, they will not consider that space as a ideal nesting space. So they will not choose that space. When we address the balconies, we are going to save 70% of the colonies in Bangalore. So when we do these small hacks by avoiding them getting in the balcony space, we are saving a lot of bees. So if they are going and settling in some beams and projections of the same building, we can leave them, let them complete their life cycle in a particular season. They will go. They are not going to stay there forever. 70% of the colonies will stay only 3 months. So the next 20% may stay for 6 months, and the last 10% may stay for 1 year. So that's why if you wait for 3 months, you can save 70% of the colonies in Bangalore, in urban India. So that's why this knowledge of bees and how to behave when they are so near. So if we know this, we can really think of coexistence.